So with Kick Legend today, we're going to show you a drill to switch to southpaw behind some striking. So here's my new friend Joey de los Reyes at Combat Arts in Mississauga, Ontario, and very happy to meet another person who shares a lot of my philosophy on martial arts, a lot of my background, and runs a very successful gym here. Look out for some blog posts for some wisdom from Joey on the martial arts business and training and how to get the most out of your martial arts dollar. And today I'm going to let him take it away with his crew on a lesson about switching to southpaw behind some striking.
Thank you. We're lucky here enough today that I have Brandon Lal Singh. Brandon Lal Singh is one of my amateur Muay Thai champions, and we have Pierce Nickel here, one of my boxing amateur champions. So today we're going to teach you how to transition safely to a southpaw stance. I think it's really good to do this after you have a good strong foundation. Once you've mastered to a certain degree your basic foundation, you want to try changing things up a bit, and you want to learn how to basically fight from a southpaw stance. And why would you want to do this? Number one, to mix up your game, add some creativity to your training, and also two, a lot of fighters have a hard time dealing with a southpaw fighter. Even though you may know the basic general tactics, most people don't put enough flight time in against a southpaw fighter. So you have a key advantage against that particular fighter if you know how to change up your stance safely, and if you have some good tactics against an orthodox fighter from a southpaw stance. Okay, but before you get into actually learning how to do this transition, there are a couple of key things you need to go over. So if I use Brandon here is an orthodox stance, and I'll be in a southpaw stance. It's just some basic fundamental things is that when I'm in a southpaw stance, I always want to make sure that my lead foot is on the outside of his lead foot. If I don't do this, if I'm on the inside, I gotta be very careful that I'm running into a strong hand technique. In this case, his cross, his right knee, his right kick. I want to force the issue where ideally, I want to be on the outside of his lead leg, so I land at my strong hand techniques as much as possible. And that's number one. Right, number two, you need to put a lot of flight time in practicing southpaw stance, learning how to throw your punches and kicks from that particular stance. Number three, you need to make up those 2 inches. Now what I mean by that is if I go back to my orthodox stance like this, you can see here that, put your hands down, Brandon. You can see from my orthodox stance here, my jab can land, right? When I change stance, pretty much equal distance apart to a southpaw stance, I can't land that jab. So when you switch to a southpaw stance, you gotta know for yourself, you gotta keep moving in towards your opponent who's in an orthodox stance to make up those last 2 inches. Okay, so here's the drill. Watch over here, guys. We're gonna go double jab, right hook as the entry. Just do the double jab, right hook. Good. Now, as he's doing that, he's gonna work his full work. Let's try the whole thing again. Look at the full work from here. All right, I'm gonna throw the double jab. As I throw the right hook, I'm gonna step at a 45-degree angle, and my tail, my left leg, is gonna swing behind me. So now I'm in a southpaw stance at an angle towards my opponents. You show it again, Brandon? Perfect. So when Brandon does it on me, nice and easy, watch here, guys. Double jab, right hook. He wants to be away from the frontal assault right here. He wants to be off the train tracks. He wants to be at an angle towards me. Now he's gonna come up with the cross, the double jab, and the left kick. And while he's doing this combination, he's circling behind me. Look at his lead leg. Switch back, Brandon. It's outside of my lead leg. Now he's forcing me to turn to face him, and he's lining up that strong hand technique, whether it's a left cross or a left high kick. Double jab, right hook, cross, double jab, and kick. Perfect. And this is one of the key ideas how to transition safely into a southpaw stance. Where does this come from, this particular footwork? The Filipino martial arts. All right, being able to step off at a 45-degree angle and circling out. Or in boxing, it's a quarter turn and a pivot. That's all it is. So try to incorporate this into your game, guys. How to transition safely into a southpaw stance. Sweet, nice. Nice. Nice, good, good. Good.
Exactly, yeah.
As Joey said, as I'm turning to face him, I'm eating that cross.
Right.
And then he's continuing the circle with that double jab, and then he puts the kick in.
Right, good.
Important thing to note here is these are really cool ideas, but we do have to compensate for a partner that's adapting to us. right? The ideal thing for him would be for me to just stand here and he could do his whole combo. Oh my God, I'm getting hit.
Right.
And not adapting. So your timing has to adjust in application to what I'm doing, right?
Exactly.
So if I'm turning, he's going to wait until I face him so I eat that cross.
Exactly.
If he's completely stolen time on me, I'm like, well, I've never seen that combo before and I don't know what's going on. Look what he has to do. I'm still this way. His left cross is now hitting at a different angle, so he might want to adjust his targeting, right? It's not straight down the pipe. It's maybe going to try to catch me at the temple because my shoulder might still be up protecting my chin. He can't necessarily throw straight down the pipe. He might have to alter the angle slightly. And so when you're working this in application, think about whether you're trying to absolutely steal time and angle or whether you're baiting the transition and hitting through his transition.
That's actually a really good key point. Or instead of throwing that left cross to the face, go to the body. All right, or change that slightly to a hook to the face if you're still facing frontwards. All right, so like Roy was saying, exactly, you got to pick your shots, pick the timing. It's a timing drill too.
So I hope you enjoyed this lesson brought to you by Joey de los Reyes at Combat Arts in Mississauga, Ontario. This is Roy Kicker Legend. Keep your chin down and elevate your striking.